Hi, kids at PCR. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Lily. Hi, Callan. Hi, Brady. Hi, Lily and Wyatt. Hello, Jackson. Hello, Marcus. Hello, Derek. I hope you all are doing very well and had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. So what we have for today is our children's time with our children's bulletin for September 13th. So we're going to start off with the beginning. And as always, there's really cool coloring. And I would love to see pictures, if you share some pictures with me of any of your colorings. But the way that they do their coloring sheets, you can find different areas and make different colors. And that really makes the words and the pictures pop out. So our picture says, "Tremble, earth, at the presence of God." Do you know what trembling means? Like to shake and shiver and be really scared, like you're outside in the dark and you don't know what's there, you're trembling. Well, that's what in one part of the Bible that the earth said, or the Bible says that the earth is doing, it's trembling in the presence of God. And so you can take the word God, G-O-D, and maybe take all of those boxes and make them all different color blues. So you can take bright blue and light blue and dark blue and maybe blue with a little bit of gray in it. And you can color all the different boxes that make up the word God, and that would be so pretty and really make it pop out. And so there's some different things you can do. And tremble, look at the lines that are shaking, just like if something was trembling, like in an earthquake. And so that's our picture. All right. On the inside is a draw it. And this talks about Exodus. And so last week we had a passage from Exodus. And do you remember, is Exodus in the Old Testament or the New Testament? All right, Exodus is in the Old Testament. And it's the second book in the Old Testament. So our first one is Genesis. And our second one is Exodus. And so we've been talking about Exodus the last couple Sundays because of Moses. And we talked about the Pharaoh's daughter finding a baby in a basket along the river. And the Pharaoh's daughter raises the baby, and that ends up being Moses. And Moses does some really incredible acts with God's help in the book of Exodus, does some pretty amazing things. And so today's story is just as amazing. Last week we talked about Passover, and this week we're talking about parting of the Red Sea, so making water move. And so it says Exodus 14 tells the miracle of Moses and the Israelites crossing the Red Sea. So the Israelites are a group of people who are trying to escape the Egyptians, and the Egyptians are not very nice to the Israelites. And so the Israelites are trying to run away. They're trying to escape from Egypt, and they're being led by Moses. And so when Moses stretched his hand over the sea, the water parted and created a path for the people to escape to safety. How do you imagine this amazing scene looking like, or how it looked? And so this is just an incredible thing to think of, that here's Moses, and he's always pictured with this big staff, this big long piece of wood like a walking stick, and he has his hands raised and spread over this sea, this big body of water. And that is their only way to escape the Egyptians. The Israelites have to go through the water. And so with God's help, Moses is able to make the sea part, and God parts the sea all the way down to the bottom of the sea, so it's just the ground underneath the water. And all the water is on the left and the right hand side. And so it creates a hallway, a walkway for the Israelites to move through to try to escape the Egyptians. And so this big scene with water going all over the place and parting, just moving for the Israelites to go through. How do you think that would look? I think it would be pretty incredible to be able to see that happen. And so that's what I want you to draw here. What do you think that would look like? In your mind, what are you picturing when you hear that? So I'd love to see pictures of this too. All right, our others finished the drawing, and in Matthew 18. So is Matthew in the Old Testament or the New Testament? It's in the New Testament, and it's actually the first book in the Bible, or in the New Testament. You have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the four first books in the New Testament. And so this is from Matthew. This is from chapter 18. And it says, Jesus teaches us our forgiveness should be endless, just like God's. One way to think of forgiveness is to picture open hands, hands which receive, accept, and are open. Finish the drawing of the hands. Inside the hands, draw or write something you or someone you might need to forgive. And so here's the beginning part of the hands, and this is the person's sleeve or your sleeves. And so what do you need to forgive? What person do you need to forgive? Or what is something that you need to forgive? If you ever have watched somebody meditate, that means they close their eyes, they try to slow down their breathing, and it just helps the mind and the heart be centered and just to calm, to wash over. And meditation, it helps you hear anything else that's out there that our busy lives make us forget or not hear. And so when people meditate, they sit crisscross applesauce, and then they put their hands on top of their knees when they're crisscross applesauce. And this is a way to open yourself to new encounters, new sounds that you hear, new feelings that you hear, but it's also a way to let things go. And so when people meditate, well, I meditate to try and cut down on worries, to realize that God will help me through my worries, that I just need to let go and He'll help me. And so people meditate for that, and they meditate for a whole bunch of reasons, maybe to think about somebody else. But having our hands open, it just helps to feel like something is coming out and it's just being let go. And so that could be your forgiveness, or some kind of grudge that you're holding with somebody, or you just don't want to forgive them. Just let it go. And Jesus is telling the disciples and people that will listen to Jesus that we need to forgive endlessly, no matter what. Not just 7 times. You don't forgive somebody 7 times. You forgive somebody 77 times. That's a lot of times. And so with that big number, is Jesus is telling us, you always forgive. And we know it's really hard to forgive, especially when somebody does something mean to us. And we've talked about conflict, about working out problems. And then last Sunday, we talked about how Jesus told us to work out our problems with somebody who does something mean to us. But then after we work out those problems with the person, then we need to forgive them and just let it go. All right. And the very last one is a maze. This is a really fancy maze. I haven't sat down and actually looked at this maze yet to see what a path might be, but it's really pretty. And in the quotations, in the words here, it says, you must forgive not 7 times, but 77 times. And it's from the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 22. And so maybe as you go through this maze, it'll help you think about somebody that you need to forgive. And maybe by the time you get to the end of the maze, you can forgive that person. And they have mazes like that people walk to kind of help meditate. And so that's the Children's Bulletin today, our stories. And then our coloring sheet is what this artist thinks that Moses parting the Red Sea looked like. If you remember, we talked about Exodus. And let me see, what chapter was that? Exodus 14. So this is what one artist thought Moses parting the Red Sea looked like. But I want to see what you, as an artist, think this looks like. Because we weren't there. The artist that did this wasn't there. So this is what they're imagining that it looks like. And so this is Moses. And these are all the Israelites that are behind him. If you see all of these people gathered together and they're waiting for Moses to lead them. You can see the water, all these waves. Now these waves would be pretty if you did different color blues in them too, or blue-green, kind of like the ocean is a blue-green color. If you did different colors of blue-green, that would be really pretty. And then you have the path where all the water's been pulled back and there's a path for the Israelites to follow. And so this would be a really good picture to color and really make it pop out. We've got the mountains back here, and it was in Egypt is in a desert area. So maybe these mountains are kind of brown and red color, and maybe even yellow to look like dirt. And so you can color those in. And up here it says, when Israel goes out from Egypt. And so these Israelites represent Israel. And so that's the picture for today. So as always, please send me your pictures. I'd love to see them. I hope you all are doing well. My questions for the children's sermon that I would love to get some of your ideas. My question is, what do you think forgiveness is? It's only one question. What do you think forgiveness is? And you can't use the word in the sentence. So if you remember from school, when you have to give a definition of a word, you can't use the word in the definition. So you can't say, well, it means to forgive somebody. Well, I'm asking, what does to forgive mean? So it's a hard question, so it's only one. So I'd love to hear what you have to say. I hope you all are doing well. Miss you, love you. See you next Children's Time. Bye.